Well, hello there. We're back talking about that inner critic again. This week we're going to talk about how we can maybe use emotional freedom techniques to help calm that inner critic. So, we've talked a lot about how important our self-talk is, our self-esteem, how it determines our success in life, how that inner critic, that inner voice will sort of show up and start to make us feel, guilty, unworthy, not good enough. That taskmaster in us comes out, that we have to have things done a certain way. The perfectionist in us will come out. All kinds of different inner critic voices in our heads. And as we said, though, it's our voice, it's our own self talking to ourselves. And what's so funny is that it actually has a really positive intention for us. It really wants to just keep us safe. It wants to it wants to keep us from failing, to keep us from experiencing something bad, from being judged, from having somebody say harsh words to us, whatever that is. You can hear the birds in the background. It's a beautiful day here. So we've talked about other ways to calm that critical voice, but today I want to talk a little bit about how we can use emotional freedom techniques to really get to know that voice better. What does it really want from us, and what is it really trying to do for us? Because make no mistake, there is absolutely a positive intention behind whatever it's doing. So before we get into that though, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Brooker. I am a relationship and stress coach. I help women who feel stuck in any sort of challenging relationship, whether it's with a spouse, a child, an in-law, coworker, whatever that might be, and especially that relationship with ourselves, to just really become more clear about what is keeping us stuck in that place, and to work through some of those things, some of those triggers, like our inner critic, so that we can just bring more joy and connection and ease and fun into our lives and really enjoy who we really are. So here's the thing, as I've said, that inner critic has a really big positive intention for us, even though it seems like it's just a nasty voice in our head. It's really not. Like I said, it's trying to keep us safe from judgment, from whatever, because after all, if it stops us from taking a chance, if it stops us from getting too big for our britches, if it stops us from sticking out, whatever it's stopping us from doing, then how can we fail? How can we be judged? How can we get hurt? Or whatever else it is that it's trying to, and it may not seem logical because it completely ignores the upside of doing all of those things, but it really does have a positive intention for us. And so, it's hard when you hear people speak critically of their inner voice, although that inner critic is what is speaking critically of us, because it's really about getting to know what it needs and how to help it through. It's a part of us that's been stuck for a long time that just needs a little bit of help to understand that there are more possibilities. So how can we use emotional freedom techniques to tap in to our inner critic's mind, so that we can understand it better, help it feel more calm and clear, and maybe, not speak as nastily, and to start to feel more positive about possibilities. So I'm going to just run through a little process. I'm going to actually just use some real life examples from me, and then I'll just do like a simple round of tapping to help us go through this. So to start off, maybe just step number one, write down or voice whatever that bold statement is for you. So for me, I am strong and fit. I am strong and fit. That's what that bold statement was for me at one time. And once that happens, write down all the thoughts that come down around with that. So it might be, nobody in my family is strong and fit, or it might be, well, I can tell you some examples for me. I had, I think I may have mentioned these before. I had a teacher when I was maybe grade 5 or 6, who was one of my favorite teachers. but would always call me Chubby Chuckles, which is a horrible thing to say to a young child. But I still remember that. I had another teacher in a report card write to me that I should try and find interests other than athletics. I was taking a summer gym class when I was, I don't know, grade 6 again, maybe. Which I think is a crazy thing. Why would you ever discourage a child from any sort of movement or, that sort of thing? Because that's so important to our lives. Logically, I can think about that now, but, things like that come up. You might think I'll never be in as good a shape as so-and-so or whatever. So just write down everything that comes up. A lot of things will probably come up. And you don't want to deal with them all at once. You want to actually just deal with them one at a time to get the best results. So so the first thing we're going to do is pick one of them. So I'm going to pick the one where the teacher wrote that thing in my report card. And then I'm going to think about, well, what comes up for me when I think about that? Now, this is all in the past for me, but we'll just use it as an example, okay? So for me, it would have been feeling not good enough, feeling less than, just feeling frustrated that, I wasn't athletic. I was, everybody around me was, I wasn't, what was wrong with me, that sort of thing. So really feeling less than. And then you would assign it a number on a scale from 0 to 10. How does that feel? How bad does it feel? So 0 means, well, that doesn't bother me at all. So you probably shouldn't be working on that. And 10 would be, this is like just really, really bad. It's like the worst. So pick a number, whatever number that would be. So let's just pretend that's, at a 7 for me right now. And then I would think about, well, where do I feel that in my body? And I know for me, I always feel things in my gut. So I would say I would feel that in my gut. And you might describe it a little bit more, but for today, we're just gonna use that as an example. So we figured out our bold statement. What sort of things came up around that? What emotion, pick one of them. What emotion did that bring up? Where do we feel it in our body? And then you would just start tapping on the side of your hand, because we're gonna try and have a little sort of, we're speaking to our unconscious when we're tapping. So we're kind of tapping with the inner critic, right? We're just going to do one round. So we're going to say, even though it's hard to give this feeling a word, it's kind of like a less than feeling, not good enough feeling. And I can feel it in my gut when I think about what that teacher wrote in that report card. I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this less than feeling in my gut, when I think about what that teacher wrote in the report card, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I think about, when I think about what that teacher wrote, that I should pursue other interests, that I shouldn't try and move, and it makes me frustrated and feel less than, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then I think I did that 3 times, then we'll just go around and tap on the points. That less than feeling. And then we go to the side of the eye. That inner critic never forgets. Never forgets what that teacher said. And then we move under the nose. I'm just not that athletic. And at the chin, I should find other things to do. And at the collarbone, how could he say something like that? And then at the side of the arm, I get that less than feeling. And at the top of the head, just thinking about what that teacher said. And you can see I've got my FLAWSOME t-shirt on because we are all awesome and flawed, so we're FLAWSOME. Speaking of the inner critic. But so we just did one simple round, and then just stop and think, okay, check in, take a breath, check in with your body. What's going on with your gut? What's going on with that emotion? What's happening when you're thinking? So for me, when I'm thinking about what that teacher said, maybe it's something, this was written maybe it was a verbal thing, maybe it was how they said it, maybe it was an expression on their face, maybe it was a tone in their voice, maybe it was the location, maybe it was in front of people. Lots of other aspects of that particular event might come up for you. Write all of them down. And what you would then do is just start working through each of those with a new round. So it might be, you know, even though all of my friends were around there and saw my report card, or all of my friends were there when he said that, you know, I deeply and completely accept myself. All of my friends were there. All of my friends were there. And work through that aspect and see how that goes. And then just breathe and check in. And remember, you know, don't try and work on anything that's really big for yourself on your own. Always have some support around you, you know, a practitioner, whatever that is. Yeah, so that's, you know, you take more notes, whatever else comes up for you, and you've got golds, you've got like a gold mine of things to work on. And these are all the things that have been feeding your inner critic. So once you start to calm those down, your inner critic will calm down. So, you know, for me, until I was able to start dialoguing with that inner critic, I was very harsh on myself. But I understand that it was trying to keep me safe, trying to stop me from doing things, trying to stop me from hearing those types of words again. So that's the beauty of EFT. It takes you to a certain unconscious place in your mind where you wouldn't normally go on your own, and things come up that you wouldn't necessarily think of if you were just consciously trying to think of it. And so with all of that comes knowledge and understanding and compassion and sort of a peace with the inner critic. So that's it for today. I hope that was helpful for you. If you could use some help connecting and dialoguing with your inner critic, then please let's connect together and see how we can work together. I am going to be taking the month of August off, but please come and let's be friends on Facebook at Living in Yes. I would love to share my weekly tips for, you know, being friends with your inner critic, increasing your self-confidence, your self-belief, that sort of thing. And I may post a freebie or two in August, and we'll be back in September with more great content for you, and I look forward to seeing you there. So make sure you download your freebies below and come visit me on my Facebook page. Let's be friends at Living in Yes. Let's connect at www.nancybrooker.ca. And you know, always message me. I love to hear anybody's comments. All right, so take good care. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Bye now.